Hi, it's Thursday at noon. You're watching CBC News BC. I'm Tanya Fletcher here in the CBC Vancouver newsroom. Here are the top stories we're following this hour. Well, time to bust out the sunscreen and that wide brim hat. Temperatures are expected to climb across BC this weekend. Metro Vancouver will reach the low 20s. That's well above the seasonal average. And in the interior, the mercury could surpass 30 degrees Celsius. Now, Environment Canada is forecasting Saturday to be the hottest of all, especially in places like Kamloops, Soyuz and Lytton. And speaking of weather, it's bad news situation. That mini heat wave comes alongside growing concern about drought conditions in BC as we head into summer. The latest snowpack numbers aren't doing much to quell those fears. The snowpack is still extremely low, only averaging 66% of normal across BC. The average at this time last year was 91%. Now, the province says these latest numbers, plus seasonal runoff forecasts, combined with the warm weather and lingering drought conditions, could all be the perfect storm to create major hazards. And that leads us to two wildfires in the Prince George region that have been burning since last year. They've now been deemed out of control, and a new fire is burning in the Kamloops area as well. Let's start further north, where the Noga Creek wildfire is burning across 500 hectares, while nearby the Patry Creek wildfire is 0.5 hectares. The BC Wildfire Service says a team is now headed up to Fort Nelson to keep an eye on those. Both fires are predicted to grow extensively over the next few days. Meanwhile, let's head south into the southern interior to Kamloops. An out-of-control fire is burning near Edwards Creek, and crews continue to keep an eye on that one as well. Now, the BC government says overall the risk of spring wildfires is ramping up. To help people prepare, the province is introducing an interactive emergency ready planner. Essentially, it lets you create an evacuation plan for your family through emergencies like wildfires, droughts, floods, and earthquakes.
The planner will walk you through each step of household emergency preparedness, making it easier for you and your family to be ready. This tool will get people thinking about the hazards in their community, what type of home insurance coverage they may need, what to put in an emergency kit and grab-and-go bag, and outline the steps to take to fire smart their home, and much more.
BC is expected to see another active wildfire season thanks to the persistent and ongoing drought this year. Let's take you to Port Moody, and two 12-year-olds have been arrested there in what police are calling a concerning incident. It stems from a video that's been circulating in the community. It shows an assault near the Port Moody SkyTrain Center, SkyTrain station. It happened midday Monday. Now, two boys are seen assaulting a young female while bystanders appear to encourage the attack. Officers have since identified the suspects. They were taken into custody and then released with conditions. The victim wound up with minor injuries. Investigators believe the attack was not provoked, and they're still not clear on the motive, but they continue to gather evidence to support criminal charges. And Canucks fans are still riding high after winning the opening game of their second-round playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers last night. Vancouver was down 4-1, but managed to claw their way back with 3 goals in the third period. And the crowd erupted when Connor Garland scored the winning goal with about 5 minutes left in the game. Game 2 against the Oilers will be Friday night, once again at Rogers Arena. That's all for us. I'm Tanya Fletcher for CBC News BC here in the Vancouver newsroom. BC Today with Michelle Elliott is next.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Well, the Vancouver Canucks were the comeback kings last night, surging past a 4-1 deficit to win Game 1 against the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to meet a super fan who has decked out his tractors in Canucks colors. And we're asking you, are you excited right now? Do you have a super fan in your family? In 20 minutes, we're asking, what are you doing to reduce your plastic consumption? We'll hear about a new film that tracks microplastics. I'm Michelle Elliott. Welcome to BC Today. Thanks for joining us on CBC Radio 1, CBC Television, and we're also live streaming on the CBC News app, cbc.ca/BC, and on CBC Vancouver's YouTube page. And you can call us now on our top story. Are you excited about the Vancouver Canucks right now? How could you not be? 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can hit pound 690 on your cell phone as well. And you can email us, bctoday@cbc.ca. Well, it was a dramatic win for the Canucks last night.
Fakes the shot. Scores! Connor Garland!
That was the sound in Rogers Arena as the Canucks clawed out of five goals to a 4 comeback against the Edmonton Oilers. It was the first game of the second round playoff series, and Connor Garland scored the winning goal. And we're going to hear from him in a moment. First, here's the Canucks defenseman Nikita Zadorov.
I mean, there's a lot of belief in this group. You know, we've done it before in Nashville. I don't think anybody giving up, even when we were down 4-1.
We felt good. You know, we like our game, and you know, we know if we play our game to our capabilities, we're a hard team to beat. But you know, same thing is they're a really hard team to beat. So it's going to be a long, hard-fought series.
Oh, what about you? Are you excited about the Vancouver Canucks right now? And where are you watching the games as well? You can call us 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can hit pound 690 on your cell phone. We'd love to hear if you're planning to go out to one of the viewing parties for this Sunday. Email bctoday@cbc.ca as well. Now, if you have been out on the road around Vancouver on game nights, you may have seen this sight. Buta Johal, decked out in his Canucks jersey and a big smile, driving a tractor. That's right, a tractor. It's painted Canucks blue with neon letters at the front, blinking the words, "Go Canucks, go." And to top it all off, there's a huge Canucks flag, of course, waving from the roof. Yes, it is quite the sight. And Buta Johal actually joins me now from his home with the tractors. And he's also joined by his son, Paj Johal, and his 6th sister, Jagraj Lali. We have lost communication with Buta at the moment. We do have a camera at his home right now. So we're hoping to connect with Buta, and he can tell us all about those tractors and why he likes to take them out on game nights, and especially on wins, what that is like. We're going to pause right now as we try to connect with our guest, Buta Johal, and the Vancouver Canucks, taking your calls as well. Tell us, how excited are you right now? Did you watch the game? What was it like where you were watching? What was the sound like? And if you have a super fan in your family, we'd love to hear. I know I have been seeing a lot of flags out and about lately. So give us a call, 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can hit pound 690 on your cell phone. If you'd like to email us, it's bctoday@cbc.ca. It is 12:10 now, 1:10 in the Mountain Time Zone. You're with BC Today. And now, last night's game was on CBC television, but it wasn't available to watch on CBC Gem. And Canucks fans, some of them who were hoping to watch online for free, shared their thoughts on social media. Now, a CBC spokesperson confirmed that the broadcaster cannot stream playoff games on CBC Gem under its rights agreements. And a Rogers spokesperson says the streaming option is exclusive to customers of Sportsnet Plus. And they also say games are also on traditional broadcast television, on Sportsnet channels, the CBC, and on Omni. Game 2 against the Oilers is at Rogers Arena tomorrow night. Now, that game is on CBC television. We are hoping to reconnect with our guest, Buta Johal, about his super fandom of the Vancouver Canucks and how he decks out his tractors for all to see and enjoy on a winning night. I'll tell you about tomorrow's show here on BC Today. We are going to celebrate Mother's Day coming up, of course, this weekend. It's a time to celebrate the mothers in our lives, to reflect on the joys and challenges. But how about we talk about what's funny? You know, what are the things that make you laugh or maybe laugh/cry? There's the lack of sleep, the thrown together lunches. Sometimes you find random items in your bag, like I have found kids' socks and little Lego bits. There's lots to find humor in. So tomorrow, we'll be joined by two funny moms, CBC's Kara's Hogg and Instagram star Cara Murray. She goes by Mediocre Mom on Instagram. They are hilarious and they love to poke fun at the ups and downs of motherhood. So we're asking you, how do you find humor in life as a mom? And tell us about a funny mom in your life. That's tomorrow. And you can email us now too, bctoday@cbc.ca. And back to the Vancouver Canucks and tapping into that excitement. You can call us and let us know how excited are you? What was it like watching the game last night? And where do you plan to watch future games tomorrow? And on Sunday, the city of Vancouver has announced it is opening up viewing parties as well for the public. You can let us know how excited you are. What's it like right now being a Vancouver Canucks fan? And tell us about any super fans that you know of as well and what they're doing to honor their Canucks. 1-800-825-5950 is a toll-free line. That's 1-800-825-5950. You can also call 604-669-3733. 604-669-3733, or you can hit pound 690. By email, send us your thoughts, bctoday@cbc.ca. And joining us now from his home is Buta Johal. Hello, Buta.
Hello, Kenna.
Hello.
Hi there. I see you're with your son. Hi there, Paj.
Yes.
And who else do you have there with you, Buta?
Hello.
Hi, my name is Jagraj. I'm his nephew.
Okay. Hi, Jagraj. Nice to meet you. Hi there, Paj. First of all, I have to say you're all decked out in your Canucks jerseys. Well done.
Oh, thank you for that. We got to represent, you know.
I bet you do. Okay, well, tell me first, how did you feel about last night's game?
It was a ride of emotions. You know, we were all sitting here watching at home together, and we had lost hope heading into the third period.
Yes.
But now, after seeing the way the team was able to will themselves back, come back, and get that win, it was really nice to see.
Were you all watching together then?
Yeah, we were watching together.
Yeah.
Actually, my uncle had just gotten back from his round downtown. He was saying hello to fans, hyping them up pre-game. And, you know, he got home and all of us were surrounded around the TV and able to watch together.
I can't imagine what it sounded like. I also see a big blue and white flag waving in the wind behind you there. Yeah, you guys are...
Yeah, when we say we got to represent, we got to represent.
You are all in. Can I talk to Buta? Because, okay, so you were kind of doing a pre-game rally of fans. Buta, can you tell me about your tractors? Like, why do you have tractors in the first place?
ਆਪਾਂ ਪਰੇਡ ਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਜਲਦੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ
So what he's saying is it normally is for the Vaisakhi parades that happen here in Vancouver. We like to take them out there and just we're people who believe in God, right? And we want to serve God to the best of our ability. So the whole reason and the motive behind these tractors is to allow us to serve our community better and just put smiles on people's faces.
I have seen some of the TikTok videos, and you certainly put smiles on people's faces. You get them to dance as you play Bhangra music. It's amazing to see. Have you ever had any trouble? Like, do you face tickets or anything like that for being out on the street?
Never. I have insurance for the road ਤੇ ਲਿਜਾਣ ਲਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋ ਕਵਰ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੀ ਲੈਂਡਸਕੇਪਿੰਗ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਦਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਵੀ ਹੋਈ.
Yeah, no, we've never ran into trouble really. All of our tractors are insured. They are following the law, and we have licenses through our landscaping company that is owned by my uncle as well. So everything we do is abiding by the law.
What about, perhaps let's hear from Paj. I really appreciate your speaking for the family there, Jagraj. Let's go to Paj a little bit. So did your dad get you into hockey, Paj, or was it the other way around?
Basically, my story with hockey was with my cousin, Jagraj. He actually introduced it with me yesterday. Our entire family sat down and watched this amazing game. So it was super exciting. And I'm excited for the future games that are coming. Yeah.
I bet you are. Can you tell me about these tractors then? I described it a little bit, but what was the work that went into decking it out with the lights and the flag and the paint?
This was years of hard work. My uncle, he was fond of tractors ever since he immigrated from India, which was back in 1995. And, he came to Canada with absolutely nothing. He had to leave all these prized possessions of his behind. And in his words, it was like leaving his baby. So when he came to Canada and a few years later, after working hard, he realized the passion for those tractors was still there. So then what he did, he got the tractor transported through a ship here to Canada in 2016. Our first tractor arrived. It was a Ford 3600. And ever since then, we've just been continuing to work hard to try and get all of our things that are back in India here.
Wow. I'm joined by three Canucks super fans, Jagraj Lali and Bhuta and Paj Johal. And you have seen Bhuta perhaps around town driving this tractor, dancing, blasting Bhangra, and waving to everybody in his jersey with a big smile, just getting everybody excited for Canucks games and their round 2 in the playoffs now. And of course, that amazing win last night, game 3. That's why game 1 in the third round. And that's why you have to stick around, right? Even if it's the last 5 minutes, it's not over until it's over, right, Jagraj?
It truly is not. Harnrayan Singh has written a book called One Game at a Time, and that's the way that we like to take things around here, just one game at a time.
Well, I'll just get you to stand by there. Thank you so much for being with us. I've got a couple calls here, people who want to share their own Canuck fandom, asking you how excited are you right now? And if you have a super fan in the family, if that is you, we'd love to hear from you. 1-800-825-5950, 604-669. 3733. And Krista is calling from Kelowna. Hi, Krista.
Hello.
Hi, you have a diehard Canucks fan in the family, do you?
Yes, a lot of us are diehard Canucks fans, but my brother, who's a very big fan, his name's Bowen, he's marrying a girl from a diehard Oilers team, a family, next month.
Oh, dear. What is that like?
Well, we're a bit nervous. We're hoping that their wedding will go through in the middle of June. We were kind of looking at the matchups and dreading that this might happen. But it's okay. We all accept each other, and we're just cheering for our team passionately anyway.
Now, okay, so tell me, so he's a diehard Canucks fan. She is an Oilers fan. What are the discussions like? Like, what's the conversation like? What was it like last night?
Oh, yeah. It's intense. A lot of text messages and chats. Lots of trash talk. But the funniest thing is that they're having a baby in July. So there's been purchases of a lot of Canucks baby apparel and a lot of Oilers baby apparel.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah, so you're just hoping that there will be a walk down the aisle then next month.
Yes, and that their kid doesn't have an identity crisis.
Yeah. Well, Krista, great. I mean, what a story to tell, right? That's like
Yeah.
we're marrying into this, the Canucks drama, the Oilers drama. And so where are they getting married?
They're getting married in Kelowna.
Okay.
On June 23rd.
On home
Fingers
turf.
crossed.
Fingers crossed, I'm sure, for you. All the best to them. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, tell us how it goes, okay?
You bet.
That's Krista in Kelowna. Ooh, yeah. The gloves come off in the household where there's an Oilers fan and a Canucks fan. I know. Johnny is joining us now from Caledon. Hi, Johnny.
Hi.
Hi. How excited are you right now?
Well, pretty excited. These comeback kids are great to watch, fun to watch.
Yeah, it sure is. I'm really edge of the seat kind of stuff. So what was it like last night for you?
It was pretty frustrating. I must admit, because I watch my games on CBC Gem, and I looked at the schedule. It started at 7:30, and then when I went and logged on to my CBC Gem Premium account, it said, sorry, it's unavailable.
Yeah, we did hear about that, and we reached out to spokespeople this morning, and a CBC spokesperson said, while we were pleased to be able to offer NHL games on GEM through the regular season, our rights agreement does not include streaming playoff games. Now, we also reached out to Rogers, and a spokesperson told us that the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs stream exclusively on Sportsnet Plus. Fans can also watch games on traditional broadcast TV, Sportsnet 1, Sportsnet 360, CBC, and Omni Television. Now, in Caledon, Johnny, do you have any kind of community watch parties? I know more and more municipalities seem to be announcing them.
No, it's too small.
Okay. Well, are you rounding up your neighborhood to maybe watch together?
No, I'm going to go over to my sister's place and watch the next game, because
there you go.
It was too much to be teased with the first round and part of the second round, and then you can't watch hockey anymore.
Well, have fun watching the rest of the series. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, thanks.
Take care. Chris is up next in Cranbrook. Hello, Chris.
Hey there.
Hi.
What my call?
Yeah, thank you for calling. How was the game for you last night?
Why can't they play like that all the time? Really.
Yeah, so you feel like excited, but just a little bit grumpy about it?
Well, when it got to 4-0,
yeah.
What?
Okay, but what about when things started to turn around? When we saw one?
Oh, that was exciting, but why can't they play like that all the time?
Right. So, Chris, I imagine people might feel like you, because we are taken for a roller coaster ride sometimes as Canucks fans. So do you have this sort of like, okay, I'm all in right now, but I'm still waiting to see if
I'm a fence sitter. Okay.
You're safest probably, right?
Okay. If they get back or by Edmonton, I do think Colorado is going to take Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But if Colorado gets up 4-0 to Vancouver, chances are slim.
Oh, Chris, a white towel, but a wet towel.
Yeah, wet towel, real wet towel.
A real wet towel.
Another thing, a conspiracy theory here.
Oh,
if
dear.
You have time. With that Toronto Raptors.
Okay, we're getting into basketball now.
Well, no, it's kind of corrected. But with the conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Do you think Demko is, I don't know, is he?
I don't know. I'm gonna let you go, but thank you very much for the call from Cranbrook, Chris. Sitting on the fence. Yeah, you never know. But you know what? Hold on to last night and enjoy last night and take that wave, ride that wave through tomorrow and the weekend. Let me go back to my guests. I have some super fans here with me right now. Buta Johal, who's joined by his son Paj, as well as his nephew Jagraj Lali. Jagraj, you've heard that from fans, I'm sure. Just like, do I really invest my fandom, my emotions in this? How far will this really go? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm not taking things, I'm not sort of holding any hope for this team because I've been through those dark years. I've been through when this team was at its lowest of lows. I've been there when it was at the highest of highs in 2011. So really what I'm going, the mindset that all of us have is just stay along for the ride. Sort of an analogy to our tractors here, just stay along for the ride. Just see how far it goes and just have fun. We're fans at the end of the day. We're expressing love and hope for this team. It's just best to have fun.
You know what? I know you've been acting as spokesperson. Can I get the three of you to give me a Go Canucks Go as we leave?
All right, Go Canucks Go.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Go Canucks Go!
Oh, look at Buta.
Let's go!
I love it. I love how Buta was raising his fist in the air and pumping it, because I know that's what you do when you drive your tractor down the street, right?
100%, and the horns, when they go off as well, we got fans waving to us, smiling at us. It's the best feeling ever.
Wonderful. Listen, you enjoy. I am so happy to have spoken with you. Thank you so much for being so gracious and taking the time.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
We've got Buta Johal, who's a Vancouver Canucks sports fan. He was joined by his son, Paj Johal, and nephew, Jagraj Lali. It's BC Today here on CBC. Lots more of the day's top stories on the afternoon shows in your region. And here's what's coming up on the Coast.
Michelle, hi there. It's Gloria Makarenko here, and I hope you can join us for On the Coast this afternoon. It's Thursday, so our Soapbox Social panel will be here. Kyla Lee and Mo Amir will take us through the latest political stories of the week. We'll also get their thoughts on the political shakeup in Delta, where every city councillor has voted against the mayor. Also, plastics are not just in our garbage, they are deep in our bodies too. I'm talking microplastics. We're going to speak to a co-director of Plastic People. It's a film that's getting its Canadian premiere here at the Doxa Film Festival. That's for On the Coast between 3 and 6 this afternoon.
Wonderful, Gloria. Thank you very much. That's Gloria Makarenko, broadcasting with On the Coast to the Metro Vancouver region. And we are going to hear more, in fact, about microplastics and that documentary coming up in our next half hour. Right now, let's wrap up our Canucks chat with Thiago in Vancouver. Hello, Thiago.
Hi there. How's it going?
Really well. Thanks for calling. How excited are you?
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So excited. Yeah. I can't wait for tomorrow. Actually, it's going to be my first Canucks game. I'm very excited about it. I got a pair of tickets and,
Wow.
I also had a date at the same time and date. So I'm about to invite him.
Oh, okay. And it's your
fun.
It's gonna first, and not an Oilers fan though, right?
Hope not. That's gonna be like a red flag right there. Let's see. Well, first date, not enough time to get to know, and I hope he is a connect one.
It'll be make or break, would it?
Sorry, say that again.
Would it be a make or break situation?
Yes.
No. Okay, well, no. You have fun, enjoy the date, and enjoy the game, and maybe just keep them apart. Things can still work out. We had someone call earlier of Canucks fan marrying an Oilers fan, so you never know, right?
I will never know, and the important, it's to have fun and enjoy life. But we are definitely standing for Canucks, so we're gonna win, guys.
Oh, look at you! Thank you so much for calling.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too. That's Thiago in Vancouver. Love the enthusiasm. Yes, Let's keep that going. This is BC Today. Yes, wave those white towels in the air. Thanks so much for all of your calls. Loved hearing them and hearing from our guests as well. What a great conversation. This is BC Today here on CBC Radio 1. We're on CBC Television, live streaming as well on our website, cbc.ca/BC. or on YouTube. You can use the CBC News app as well. I'm Michelle Elliott. Very nice to be with you this afternoon. And coming up, yes, we are going to talk more about that Doxa Film Festival screening of a documentary about microplastics and the effect that they have not just on the planet, but on us, on our bodies. And we're going to hear from the director as well as a researcher on plastics and ask you, what are you doing to reduce your own plastic consumption? That's coming up after this CBC News update. And here's Robert Zimmerman.
Good afternoon. Forecasters are expecting record temperatures over the next few days in parts of the province, and officials are warning that will likely spur wildfire activity. The province says the biggest concern is in northeastern sections. Environment Canada says parts of the interior could see highs reaching 32 degrees. Police in Port Moody say two 12-year-old boys have been arrested and released with conditions after they allegedly assaulted a girl at a SkyTrain station. Investigators say they were notified of a video circulating in the community depicting an assault at the Moody Centre station on Monday. They say the video shows two boys assaulting a girl while bystanders appear to encourage the attack that left the victim with minor injuries. And Elk Valley RCMP say they are still on the hunt for a suspect who was allegedly involved in a weapons disturbance yesterday. Police say there is no active threat to the public. The man's vehicle is a gray Ford F-150 pickup with damage to the front end. And now taking a look at the forecast on the north coast, a mix of sun and cloud this afternoon with a high of 16, highs up to 24 and sunny in the Peace. In the central interior, including Prince George, mainly sunny with a high of 21, highs to 24, mainly sunny in the Kootenays. In the southern interior, including Kelowna, lots of sunshine as well with a high of 25. And for Metro Vancouver, Greater Victoria and the Fraser Valley, sunny and warm this afternoon with highs from 18 to 26 inland. That's your CBC News update from Vancouver.
Did you watch the game last night?
Well, sort of. I watched the first two periods and then I go to bed early because I get up early.
Yes.
And so I watched the third period at 5 this morning. Wow. What a third period.
So
Fantastic.
did I, actually. That was the one to watch anyway.
That's right. Super exciting. These games do not happen to the Canucks.
No, actually,
they
yes.
happen against the Canucks.
Yes.
The Predators come back win and this win. Yeah, super exciting.
It was really exciting. I mean, 1 and then 2 and then 3 and it just comes and comes. But yeah, do you think there's something different about this team now, or?
Well, like I say, this has never happened. I mean, I've been a fan for 50 years. It's never, we don't win those games, right? We lose those types of games where, you know, the comeback wins and the clutch goals and clutch goaltending.
How could you lose to that? Yeah.
Yes. So, sure, it might be different this year. Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you got to catch the best part anyway.
Yeah,
last
great.
night. Yeah,
Super.
we're in for the ride.
We sure are.
Thank you so much.
All right, Michelle.
Robert Zimmerman in the CBC Vancouver newsroom. This is BC Today here on CBC. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michelle Elliott. You can listen to us on CBC Radio 1. You can use the CBC Listen app, or you can watch us on CBC Television. We are also live streaming. You can go to YouTube, just search for CBC Vancouver, or go to our website, cbc.ca/BC. If you want to watch us again on demand, you can always go to YouTube after the show. We're going to talk about plastic pollution now. And the dangers, they've been known for some time, but not always the case. Now, plastic was once heralded as a successful scientific breakthrough as early as 1907 with the invention of Bakelite by Belgian chemist and marketeer Leo Baekeland. But as we become more aware of the dangers of plastics that never break down, communities are trying to decrease plastic pollution in our watersheds, as well as our dump sites and our homes. We're going to hear more about that now through a new film that is premiering its Canadian premiere at the Doxa Film Festival this weekend. And we're asking you as well, how are you reducing your own plastic consumption? You can call us 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733, and you can also hit pound 690 on your cell phone. You can email bctoday@cbc.ca. And joining me now is Ben Adelman, the director of the film Plastic People, The Hidden Crisis of Microplastics. And it's a much anticipated documentary that is having its Canadian premiere at Doxa Festival this Friday in Vancouver. And joining me in studio is Juan Jose Alava. He's a marine ecotoxicologist and the principal investigator with the Ocean Pollution Research Unit, and that's at UBC. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here.
Good afternoon, Michelle. Thank you for inviting me.
And Ben, great to have you as well. Oops.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here with us. Ben, let's start with you. I've seen and heard a lot about this documentary. It's getting a lot of attention. What was it that led you to work on this, along with the science journalist Zia Tong?
Well, I was actually lucky enough to be approached to work on the project. It was already underway. It was already in development when they asked me to help. So I sort of kept that perspective as sort of a concerned citizen who kind of learned about the issue like as we were making the film.
Mm-hmm.
So once I was approached, I helped some really great producers in Toronto, and Zaya was already part of the project, and we sort of built a package together, raised the money, and then a year and a half later, here we are. But I feel like I kind of went on a bit of a journey with the film as we were making it. And it definitely changed my my life and my perspective on things.
And it's kind of it is a foreboding journey, isn't it? Like just learning more and more.
Yes, and I feel like the film almost tracks the way that the world is kind of waking up to this issue. Like, say a year and a half ago, a little bit more, if I told someone, oh, I'm helping develop a film about microplastics, people said, oh, what's that?
Right.
Like it was very, people didn't know the term yet, or a lot of people didn't. Or maybe they were sort of like I was, like they had heard it and they knew it wasn't great, but they didn't really know the details or the scale. The scale is a really, 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 really big part of the story. And we made the story kind of international because, as Juan, I'm sure will tell you that the small but growing community of scientists and researchers that are working on this, they are sort of all over the world. And that helped, give the film a dynamic of a bit of an adventure story, digging into the, the issue. And we did concentrate quite a bit on microplastics. And that was definitely, a decision we made early on in the process. It's a big story and there are a lot of different directions you can go, but that was sort of the focus of our film. Also, we also included the subtext of, how humanity got itself in this predicament of being sort of addicted to, or our sort of relationship with plastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our story. So the microplastics specifically, and then even more specifically, the human health potential impacts of microplastics.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Juan has a lot to say about as well.
Yes, Juan Jose Alava is with me, who's at UBC's Ocean Pollution Research Unit. Ben just talked about how awareness seems to be growing more and more, but can you give us a sense of just the magnitude of this issue? How serious is it?
Well, the situation or the impact of the negative impacts or effect, I will say, of the microplastic pollution footprint in the global ocean, in our global environment, is even worse than meets the eye. I think we're at the crossroads today. The amount of plastic particle pieces that are floating in the ocean is in the average of 170 trillion plastic pieces floating only in the surface of the ocean, representing 1% of all the total plastic that is in the ocean, basically. And I have the opportunity to see the trailer of Ben's film, and really it's called out heartbreaking. At the same time, much needed reminder that we really need to call out for the reduction of polymer plastic around the world, because it's coming basically from fossil fuels to reduce and eventually eliminate all this plastic that is still being produced. In 2020 only, we have 20,000 million. The cumulative production was 10,000 million metric tons in 2020. In 2040, will be the double, 20,000 million metric tons. That's a lot of plastics that we have. And what we can really echo from the movie is that it's not only in the ocean, in the atmosphere, in the sediment, in the marine biodiversity, it's already in our bodies, in our tissues, in our organs, because of the accumulation via food, diet, and also inhalation. So the two main routes of exposure is basically diet, seafood, or every species that we consume that is exposed to the microplastic or plastic particle, and also inhalation in our environment, right? So they're everywhere, and that's what we call very pervasive, ubiquitous pollutant, and not only the plastic particle per se that can cause physical damage, but it's all this cocktail of pollutants that are associated with the plastic. There are more than 60,000 chemicals additives, from which more than 4,000 are considered like persistent, bioaccumulative, and toxic and mobile.
Yeah.
So it's even worse, this situation.
When you lay it out like that, I mean, those numbers are certainly overwhelming,
Yes.
and I just think, well, I've given up. Like it's already in and among us. I mean, what is the danger? What is the risk?
Well, the risk is that we might see in the future diseases by plastic. We already know that seabirds, we are one of the most exposed marine vertebrates in the ocean. There is a disease that was just found last year. It's called plasticosis, plastic. Wow. This has induced fibrosis of the GI tract. So that's the first evidence that plastic really can perturbate, can really alter the mucosa, the cells that basically are in the stomach of marine birds, not to mention other species that are exposed. And there is evidence that right now, this nanoparticle, even much smaller than microplastic, can be found in the lungs, in the brain, in the human breast milk, in the blood, in the colon. So it's everywhere.
That's
so
terrifying.
And we will see probably more disease associated with that. Of course, we need more research. And this field is good because it will incentivize to look for more weight of evidence about the impact to the human health, to the public health, right? We know that organisms in the ocean are already affected, but human, we are at the top of the food web. And basically, we are consuming everything that is transferred from the bottom to the top. So it's basically an important call out to really raise more awareness and to take care and really push forward more regulation to really eventually eliminate single-use plastic because they are not reusable. Okay. There's only one-time use. And other plastics that we need to really move from the environment.
It's single-use plastic. Let me just put out our numbers once again, and we're asking you, how are you reducing your own plastic consumption, specifically single-use plastics? I'm sitting here with my reusable water bottle. I figure that's making a difference. I hope so. But asking you, what are you doing to reduce your own single-use plastic consumption? Our numbers are 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. You can hit pound 690 on your cell phone. If you'd like to email us, it's bctoday@cbc.ca. And I'm pleased to welcome as my guests Ben Adelman, the director of Plastic People, The Hidden Crisis of Microplastics. And this documentary is having its Canadian premiere at the Doxa Film Festival this Friday in Vancouver, tomorrow. And in studio with me is Juan Jose Alava, a marine ecotoxicologist and the principal investigator with the Ocean Pollution Research Unit at UBC. And Ben, you talked about the human's role in all of this, in causing this plastic pollution. What have you found people can do?
Well, it's a big question. I mean, I would personally support any limits on how much plastic is produced and manufactured. I think Juan was hinting at too, there is a UN plastics treaty that's currently being worked on. That's like the big picture stuff. I mean, again, as Juan said, it's pretty clear that plastic is a pollutant, and especially as it gets into the microplastic form, the way it can enter the human body or the ecosystem. So I think it should definitely be treated like any other pollutant. There are, restrictions and regulations and limitations on how much you can pollute. So plastic should be put into that category. There are definitely initiatives to put more responsibility on the people who make and manufacture plastic. This is not really what's in our film, but like it would almost be like, a part 2. But there are these companies who produce and make and profit off plastic, for instance, like plastic water bottles, but then they have no responsibility for the end result. And it's municipalities and governments and like regular citizens that have to deal with this. And, of course, this costs a ton of money. And there are lawsuits now, just sort of like cutting edge lawsuits. There's one, New York State versus Pepsi, that is addressing that directly, like asking them to pay for some of the costs of their products. There are also efforts, and these are maybe a little bit out in the future, to like make plastic less toxic. One again mentioned all the chemicals in plastics. We found that every sort of scientist and researchers we spoke to found that, and a lot of the companies are very guarded about exactly what's in their plastic. Like the different, this company uses this formula, that company uses that formula, but they're sort of protected as sort of like company secrets, for like business secrets.
Right.
So all that stuff has to be opened up, and there are less toxic ways to make plastic, or people who are developing those. It's not really there yet. And also, one of the positive things about it is like so much plastic is single use.
Right.
Some single use things maybe arguably are useful, but most of them are pretty unnecessary. And really, even going back to like, the time when I was a teenager, there was a lot more glass bottles. There were a lot more like you would, a pickle jar would never be plastic, for instance.
Right.
So all these things that have creeped into our lives, it would be really easy. Maybe easy is not exactly the right word, but it's possible to turn back the clock on some of these things as a first step.
Right. Is it, I guess, as you said, it's not that easy. There are, there have been attempts, like the Canadian government introduced a ban on single-use plastics. That was challenged overturned by the federal court. Ottawa's appealing. We've seen, Vancouver City Council repealed a 25-cent fee for single-use cups. And now that I think about it, when you talk about glass bottles, Vancouver's going to experimenting and allowing with pilot projects liquor at beaches, and they're saying no glass because of the waste that leaves. So where are we in those kinds of efforts, Jose?
I think this is important, as Ben mentioned, and we need innovation, just transition to look for more environmental friendly, cleaner, greener products or material that are not going to be harmful or unsustainable in the long term. And that's important when we talk about the concept of essential use concept, basically, in which we need to get away to replace all these unsustainable, harmful plastic by other material that are going to be more environmental friendly. That's not easy, but we need creativity, innovation to do that. Right?
Is that happening? Do you see that?
Well, we are already seeing some example with the plastic straws. So more people are using other kind of material instead of plastics. And as a sign of that, in the last Great Canadian cleanup, shoreline cleanup, there wasn't any plastic straws. Still, cigarette butts is the number top from the dirty dozen of plastic. It's the number one.
That must be encouraging.
It's 174 dozens plastic cigarette butts that were observed. But there wasn't any plastic straw. So that's a good sign that when we want to implement regulation, when there is the political will to get away from single-use plastic, we can do it. So instead of going backwards, we need to go forward to really eliminate all this harmful plastic. It's not just the plastic per se, it's the chemical that are associated with it. And cigarette butts is a lot of PAHs, hydrocarbons that are carcinogenic. So we really need to put more effort to get away from that and really incentivize work with the industry to move away for all these primary plastic polymer coming from fossil fuels.
Okay, let's take a call now. My guests, Juan Jose Alava and Ben Adelman, asking you what you do to reduce your own plastic consumption, specifically single-use plastic. 1-800-825-5950, 604-669-3733. And Leah is calling us from Vancouver. Hi, Leah. What are your thoughts on trying to reduce plastic?
Thank you. That is how the plastic recycling has been a major issue in my life. I have so much collected literally at home. I wanted to show it to someone. For example, the brushes, where you brush your back, those long handles. The plastic brush, they have sort of like a type of plastic for what, where you wash your back with or so. All this plastic, there's nothing on it. That is stuff that goes into the garbage, literally, or there is no number on it. So I collected so many items that have no number on it. And the other problem is that we have too many numbers. We have the intelligence and the technology to research that we create one type of plastic that can be used for everything and that can be used on an international basis. Not just that everybody has their own little secrets, it's all a bunch of crap. I mean, the government has to enforce that and say this is what we're doing for the betterment of the people and for the betterment of the planet.
Okay.
One type of plastic, it's not coming overnight, that type of technology, but it has to be researched.
We are hearing about that now and the kind of work that's going into that. Leah, thank you so much. And Leah touched on an important point there, which is recycling. And you and Ben, you said, you talked about the sort of the shortcomings of recycling at the end of life of these plastics. So what needs to be done there? Because sometimes people think, they sort them diligently in those boxes, thinking that they are helping. What do you want to say about that, Ben?
Yeah, unfortunately, Leah's right about recycling. It turns out that it's a pretty big disappointment, verging on almost like a fraud. At most, 10% of plastic that gets, put into those blue bins gets recycled, and probably quite a bit less than that. The reality is that most recyclable plastic is just theoretically recyclable. And, there are differences in every municipality in every kind of area, but even if it has that little chasing arrow symbol on it, it does not mean that it is going to be recycled. Like, for instance, in Vancouver or where I live in Toronto, it might be, but the vast majority of plastic is not.
Why is that? Why is that, Juan Jose?
Well, it's because all these single-use plastic are made in a way that they are just one-time use, right?
Right.
So what we observe today is that recycling is just a downstream intervention, and it's not sufficient. It's basically insufficient. It doesn't help. People is incentivized to do more recycling, but at the end of the day, we know that 85% or 90% of all the plastic that we have, plastic waste, is go to the landfills. And 1% go to the coastal environment. We are talking about, for example, it's like almost 3 million tons of plastic going to the landfill, and 1% going to the ocean, like 30,000 tons.
But shouldn't municipalities be accountable for that and transparent about that?
I think they should work with the industry. The industry should be accountable, and that's transparency. There is zero accountability. They should be taking care from all the full life cycle of the plastic, from the extraction and to the final consumption, even remediation. Similar to what happened with other issues in the world with tobacco company, with the Exxon Valdez. So we really need to be more transparent and to really label what kind of plastic is this, what polymer, what are the chemicals associated, right? So it's important to work for that. At the last plastic treaty meeting in Ottawa, the Ministry of Environment of Canada said, we are going to implement a plastic registry. We hope that that's going to go forward to really see what kind of plastic we are using, because we need to remove all these harmful single-use plastic and look for more environmental-friendly alternatives.
Not just what the plastic is, what's in the plastic itself.
I believe so.
Okay, let's take a call from Jerry in Vancouver. Hi, Jerry.
Hello.
Hi. What do you do to try and reduce plastic consumption?
Well, that's just it. My point for years has been reduce. And what bothers me is I like to buy everything in glass bottles if it is, and I find that hard. I don't believe in buying bottled water, but should I have it, I go up and down the shelves until I find one in glass, and I'm going to go to the pickles and everything else. It doesn't matter the brand. If it's in glass, that's what I buy.
Okay.
At home, no, I'm going to go back to the store for years, It's been an embarrassment to my family. I just throw my fruit and vegetables in the cart because they're going to be washed when we come home. And if I do happen to buy cherries or something like that, I get one of the paper bags that's for mushrooms and put it in. Now, the thing is, sometimes with the strawberries, or et cetera, they come in plastic.
Right.
And I don't like it, but I have to do it. I am going to backtrack a minute. I have noticed that a lot of the sold products that used to have plastic around the box, they're not doing that. Then at home, finally, I have not put garbage in a plastic bag. It would be decades. And in my bathroom, I have a paper bag. I get the size from the liquor store. And that is a paper bag. And I go down to the basement, and I just turn it over and dump it in the dumpster. The same with my garbage. It's a paper bag.
Yeah.
And I am blessed in this condo. A lot of people get the paper bags, and they just throw them in the recycling.
Yeah.
So I take the bags out of there for my garbage.
Great strategies, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Really good to hear from you. I have about a minute left. What would you like to come out of your film, Ben? What do you hope people take from it?
I mean, I guess knowledge is power. Someone in the film actually says that towards the end of the film, and that's what I believe. And sort of my role, I think, is to sort of make a watchable, informative film. And there are plenty of people like one in the film who make all kinds of, very powerful points. And I hope that it sort of builds up into something that sort of stays with people. The experience of making it definitely stayed with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully people learn a little bit and change their lives a little bit too.
Knowledge is power. Juan, about 30 seconds left. What do you want people to learn today?
Well, I echo Ben, and I congratulate Ben for this film. And I think also we need to think about our cultural changes, our consumption preferences. As an individual, at the household level, at the community level, we can also have changes to avoid the consumption of more plastics and really look for other alternatives. But we also we need the enforcement or the regulator, the government. We need to push a strong hand to really get away, right, from these toxic pollutants, basically.
Enforcement and cultural change. Speaking of cultural change, Matt was calling from North Vancouver to say he's a huge Canucks fan, but everyone uses single-use cups. So people should think about options. Thank you, Matt, from North Vancouver. Ben Adelman and Juan Jose Alava, thank you so much. Really good to speak with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Ben. Nice.